Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page where I do this daily, or I should say nearly daily, live stream around the information gathered from a card draw in the morning, the oracle card or the divination cards that I use. And that card, the essence of that card, I think sparks a spiritual conversation. And I tell you what, it's a conversation I really enjoy. So this is Tuesday, March 12th. I had to stop and think for a minute. Tuesday, March 12th. And here in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I live, it was a very beautiful morning, sunny, sunny, sunny. And when I got up, it was 8 degrees, which I know it doesn't sound like it's warm, but for around here these days, that is like almost balmy weather. and this afternoon it's supposed to get up to 43 degrees today. Can you believe it? Snow is melting, ice is melting, and but we do have cloudy skies, and it's supposed to rain. So it's going to be a mess. I can just imagine George, our 8-month-old puppy. Tomorrow he'll be 8 months. How muddy or how wet he's going to be when he goes outside. Get the towels out. All right. So before we get started with the card information, I am going to take my phone and I am going to like and share the live stream. And I invite you to do the same. And the reason being is that it helps us to be in the newsfeed a bit more. And even if you share it to your own newsfeed, or you share it with one friend or a group maybe that you're a part of, it's very helpful. It's very helpful. And I just got to find our live stream. Here it is. And I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it over to my newsfeed. And I'm just going to say hi, friends, and letting them know that I'm live streaming right now, and to please join me. All right. There we go. We'll post that. And I think I'll send it over to the Academy. I've already shared it with the Radio Network closed group, but I think I'll share it over to the closed group Academy too. And okay, there we go. And I'm just going to say hi, peeps, and let everybody know that I'm live streaming. There we go. And then to please join us. Here we go. And we'll post that. There, that's done. It doesn't take long. As long as I spell the words right. My quick keys come up really, really fast. So, well, are you guys getting prepared for the spring equinox next week? Yeah, can feel the energy building, right? Yeah. I think this is going to be a pretty important one. A lot of people have been talking about it, those people who channel and those people who, do the, sensing the energy for the whole planet kind of thing, and just reading some of the channeling and talking to a few people. Yeah, it feels like this is going to be an important one. Now, they're all important in one way or another, but this one I think is really, really tied to our soul growth, to how we bring energy in, right, our information. So, yeah, maybe we should talk about that a little bit. Maybe I'll come up in the cards. Let's see what happens. And hey, Rochelle's here, patiently waiting for you. Howdy. I know I was just a minute or two running behind. That's all. And Julie's here too. Julie Shumway Hell. Always good to have Julie in the house too. Julie is our Star Nations Academy manager, and she helps me pull together information to get the registration up and to get the word out. And so Julie and I have got some work that's got to get done this week. And we're going to get there. We'll get there. Thank you, Rochelle, for sharing and also being reminding us to ground. Thank you so much. And if you haven't had a chance to ground today, you might want to take a moment to do that before we get started with the information from the cards. It's just that when we're grounded, we're able to utilize, our gifts and our intuition so much easier. We have access to them. Without, when we're ungrounded, things can happen that we don't necessarily want to happen, And I had a call with my sisters last night. We do a monthly Skype. And we've been doing that for, it's got to be like 8 years now, something like that. Every month, sometimes twice a month, depending on what's going on, what's going on with our families and us individually and that kind of thing. But anyway, we were talking last night, and one of the things I'd mentioned was about, what's it like for you guys? And I was talking to them. How do you know when you're not grounded? How do you know? What happens? And so they each in turn, shared with me what it feels like for them to be ungrounded. And I have to say that there's a couple things that are kind of went through the entire group. And one of them is that we're much more in our mental mind, ruminating about stuff, or feeling like we're turning around in circles because we have so much to do, and we're all up here in our head, right? That was one of them. And the other one was that that we almost feel like we're clumsy. We're dropping things or bumping into things. Sometimes it really, really does hurt. Walking into partially open doors, that's me, because I'm not paying attention, right? Because we're not completely in our body. And so, we were sharing that kind of stuff. And so then we talked about, the importance of being grounded. And in our group, everyone has an activated Merkaba. And so when we talked about what it felt like when that shift happened for us, then how did it feel to be ungrounded? And it doesn't happen very often, number one. And number two is that it kind of evens things out. We don't feel like we're on a roller coaster so much, right? Yeah. So being grounded is really important. It helps us when we have information coming in, no matter what the source is that we can actually take in exactly what we need from that information. Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Rochelle, for reminding us. And if you haven't, then please, take a moment and do your grounding. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jackie's here. Hello, Jackie. Good to have you here this afternoon. And Rochelle says, I feel scattered if I don't ground. Yeah. And the thing is that when we're consciously aware of our path here on Earth, right? I think that we when we turn our attention to something such as, why am I so scattered today? And we realize, oh, I'm ungrounded. That we're actually more of, how do I want to say this? There's more and more people like us that are more attuned to that, okay, than there ever have been. But there are some people out there that still don't have that awareness, right? Not that they will never get it. It's just that maybe it's the timing thing for them, or decision-making time kind of thing. And so, so when we recognize that we're not grounded, that's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. Because that way we can take a moment, pause, right? Pause and do our grounding, because it doesn't have to take, very long at all to do it. So Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Yeah. Valerie is saying, here now, crazy busy day, just grounded. Yay, thank you, Valerie. Well, that'll help with the crazy busy day because I have one of those today too. It's a good busy though. It's really, really good. We started off with Mervyn Kelly's show from Star to Stone this morning. And for me, being in the Midwest, that starts at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I just barely finish up with mom stuff when I'm got my laptop out and I'm, going from Star to Stone and finishing up, cleaning up the kitchen while he is greeting everybody. And then I can sit down and start sharing things out and that sort of thing. Hey, Mervyn's here. Speak his name and he appears. Hi, Mervyn. And so, yeah, today is very busy because then, we have this live stream and in between those two shows, I was working on, I got a meeting tomorrow afternoon that I have to prepare for. And so I was working on that. And we also have to get Polly Joe's class that's going to happen here in May. We got to get the registration stuff up. So I was starting to pull together the information for that so we can get that promotion put up. And then it was lunchtime. And I also fit a playtime in there. It was just maybe 10 minutes with George. And so, yeah, I see what you mean, Valerie, about, really busy. And so we get done with this, which, by the way, we're going to end just a little early because, oh, no, that's tomorrow. Sorry. Delete. That's delete. That's tomorrow. Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. So this afternoon is all about, after we're done here, is getting prepared for my 8 p.m. show and dealing with supper. It leaves maybe an hour and a half to get some work done. And so that's, I know what you mean, Valerie, when you say that it's crazy busy. I know. Tonight's going to be an easy supper too. Probably a carry-in of some sort. Paul will decide that. Okay, so the cards today. We've had these before, and as I was looking at them after I drew them, I was thinking about the first time, and we actually had one of them yesterday. So here we go, 122. And get the page up so I don't have to be scrambling for it. There we go. All right, so the first card that came this morning, was horse. Horse. Yeah. And he was here yesterday, backing up the first card. And we talked just a bit about him again yesterday. Yeah. And I just want to double check, make sure my memory serves me correctly, and how to do the pronunciation. For horse in Gaelic, yeah. Is it ek? Ek. Looks like the word each, but it's pronounced ek, I think. Or is it etch? Could be etch. Because the pronunciation guide says ECH, so I bet it's etch. Etch. That's horse. And the horse, the words associated with horse coming from the author, Philip Cargome, he uses the word the goddess, the land, and travel. The goddess, the land, and travel. Yeah. And, with this card, like we do with every other card, just taking a look at it and as you're looking at it is what draws your attention first? What brings you into the card first? Yeah. What do you notice first? Yeah. Horse. Etch. the goddess, the land, and travel. You know, and I know that they call him a gray horse. And I suppose that if he was a white horse, he'd probably be a bit brighter because of the starkness of the white. But you know, in many indigenous people here in the United States, when they see a white horse, that is, they call it a ghost horse or a spirit horse, and it's directly connected to the Creator in that color. Yeah. Hey, Julie says, Julie Shumway Hill says she's grounded. Thank you, Julie. And Rochelle says the bright sun and the energy it has. Yeah. I think you mentioned that yesterday too, right? The sun. And certainly can't miss it because, you know, how they're depicting the brightness of it. The brightness of it. Father Sky. Grandfather Sky. Yeah, Mervyn is saying Rhiannon is the Celtic horse god from Wales. I like that name too, Rhiannon. So here is what the author has to say about the card. He says the card shows a gray mare with the Chalk Hill figure of white horse of Huffington, Oxfordshire in the background. Okay, can you see that in the background on the hill? I don't know if my camera is focusing. Come on, focus. All right, it's in the background. In the foreground, we see mare's peas, which means bog bean, and horsetail growing, and to the left, horseshoe vetch. Carved in one of the rocks is a symbol of a key, and on the other, a mounted warrior. The sun is prominent in the sky above. And so, you know, even the position of the sun, we could say that it would be like maybe high noon. It's not morning time and it's not late afternoon. So I'm trying to get the etchings in the stones here. There we go. There we go. There's the warrior on the horse, right? And over here is the key. Is the key. And it looks like, it seems to me that the horse is walking down the path, a grass pathway. And it looks like, you can't really tell, but it looks like he may have at least two legs, two hooves on the ground. Possibly. But with his tail up like that, those people who are horse people in the audience, you can let us know. It seems like the horse might be moving rather fast. It's not just a meandering walk. But you notice how sometimes horses have their tails up when they run or when they trot? Yeah. Hey, Mervin's giving us some good information here. He's giving us a link to visit the Huffington Castle, White Horse, and Dragon Hill. Thank you for that, Mervyn. Yeah. All right. So the spirit of Etch calls us to journey, to travel. This may manifest itself as a desire to travel in the physical world, or we may be drawn to voyaging in the inner realms. She brings us energy and speed and connects us to the power of both the land and the sun. The horse goddess is a patroness of the complete life cycle of birth and death, the afterlife and the rebirth. So it's the full cycle. Okay? So the full cycle. The horse goddess is the patroness of the complete life cycle of birth, death, the afterlife, and the rebirth. By working with the spirit of Etch, we will grow to feel comfortable with every aspect of the life cycle, knowing that the goddess protects and guides us through each of its stages. So traveling, whether we're if we're traveling in the physical world, right? That's freedom, isn't it? It can be connected to freedom. In many ways, the horse does represent independence and freedom. When we think about everything, the horse has brought many, many people. It's the ability to be more mobile, to go greater distances, to travel greater distances. Because, in the United States, Turtle Island, horse isn't indigenous to this land. The horse came with the Spaniards. But the thing is that the horse brought such a huge gift to Native people, especially in the Great Plains, west of the Mississippi, because they were able to because they moved their home site many times, right? They're nomadic. And so they would move from their summer or spring homes to their fall and winter homes. They would literally follow the buffalo, which is their main food, right? And so, and the horse to appear for them meant that they could easily carry much of their belongings in that movement. And the Comanche they became known as the Lords of the Plain because of the way that they bonded with their horses. And it was like, they say, watching them ride their horse, it was like watching a single being, because they were so connected to their horse that they rode together, literally. Yeah. Oh, good. We do have a horse person in the audience. Mary, hello, Mary. She says, looks like trotting, tail up, excitement, alertness. Yay. Good for that. Thank you, Mary. And she also says, with a mare, tail up could mean she's in heat. Really? Okay. So that adds a little bit more to the card, right? Information to the card. There's the possibility of being creative, or being in the creation mode. We could also add manifesting in there too. What are we creating, right? What's the possibilities of creating? And we're also looking at the words associated with the horse is the goddess, land, and travel. Traveling both in the physical world and even in the inner world. Thank you, Mary. That really adds another dimension to the card, don't you think? Yeah. Now, the card came to us in the upright position, so it wasn't reversed, but I'm liking adding the information about the reverse, because I think it helps us to really take in the full meaning of the card, okay, or what the message is, I should say, the full message. So in the reverse, this card may be asking us to look at the roots of our restlessness. If we have difficulty settling down, staying in one place, or completing tasks, it may be that we're not fully accepted the flow of life. The flow of the life cycle and our part within it. Attuning to the spirit of the horse may help us to connect with our sense of place in the world, with the spirit of the land beneath us and the sky above us. I really like that. And I do know that many of the indigenous people in the West, I should say, that they have a way of connecting to the horse spiritually, where, they talk about being connected to Grandmother Earth through their hooves, right? And that their tail and their ears are about reaching for the Creator, pointing up, possibly with the tail. Yeah, and especially if it has a rider, and then what you're doing is connecting heaven and earth, right? Yeah. And they actually make special and specific regalia for their horses, especially if it's a white horse. Very intricate beadwork. They're gorgeous. I'll see if I can find a picture for you guys and post it, okay? Because it's gorgeous. And many times the horse is a symbol of wealth, right? You know, we've heard those stories about, you know, how many horses a bride would cost. And a lot of times, you know, those early marriages had more to do with connections. You know, one family being related to another through marriage, right? And sometimes it was about the land, right? Yeah. Won't get into that. Since the horse is sacred and brings good fortune, it has been protected from the evil eye with horse brasses. The Druids, later country folk, would bless a horse by leading it sunwise 3 times around a cairn, which is a burial place, which would be known as Cairn nan Etch. To protect a horse from theft from witches, carters would hang hagstones, naturally hold flint stones around their horse's neck. I never knew that. And so the Druid tradition of Bealtaine, of mating, there we go, of mating in May symbolizes the gateway for the soul to enter the world, and the time of Samhain, of death, at the other side of the year in November, symbolizes the gateway for the soul to leave the world. These 2 gateways act as a fundamental point in the life cycle. The horse goddess opens the gate at Bealtaine, allowing in a great flood of ebullient energy, which makes men feel like stallions and women refer to them as studs. As the gates are closed at Samhain, she carries the soul to the afterlife, back to the summer lands to be renewed again. Very interesting. So it's bringing the soul in to the physical incarnation, and when that soul is ready to leave the physical body, she's there to pick the soul up and to ride toward the goddess, right? Ride toward the creator. I really like that. Kind of reminds me of a meme that I saw quite some time ago. It's of a person, you know, I was going to say a man, but, you know, I suppose it could be a woman, had a horse. You could see they were holding onto the reins. They were walking together, but they were walking into like a sunset or into the light, right? And so that's what that kind of reminds me of. And so if you're going on a journey, whether it's a physical journey or an inward journey, the sun is here to illuminate your path, and it's very bright so that you can really see where you're going, which means that you have a good and clear intention about where you're going, and the sun, Father Sky, is going to help illuminate your path, right? And so even if it means that you are maybe creating something, you know, we got lots of people shifting and changing right now, and it kind of matches the season, right? We matches the season because we're heading into spring, and even the weather is kind of, you have rain one day and snow the same day, and so it's not really spring, it's not really winter, so you're kind of in between. Yeah. So if you call on the spirit of horse, you know, it's a possibility that your path is going to be illuminated, and they can help, they can carry you, they can lead you. You know, there's a lot of people that I know And it could be because of the age that I am, just about everybody I know is preparing for that R word, retirement, like within just a couple of years. And so they're talking about plans right now, plans to sell the house, plans to how to reinvest their money, plans on what to give away and what to keep. And so if you're creating something along those lines, and you have a clear intention, that's what that sun means. Having a clear intention, and that the sky, grandfather sky, is going to be illuminating that path. And horse can certainly help you with that. Carry the load. Maybe you'd even go further in your intention, just like the horse did for the indigenous people west of the Mississippi. They were able to travel further and actually faster. It was a sense of freedom of movement. Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about the key down there. What's that key to? When we think about a key, when we define a key, usually it's to open something up, right? To open up a lock, to open up a door. Maybe it aids in that movement. To unlock what? To unlock what? Your freedom? To unlock your gifts? To unlock your intuition? To unlock your creativity? How you manifest? It could be a key to a lot of things, because the horse is there to help you do that. He's walking or trotting right past it. And Mary says, that means that the horse is excited and that they're alert. Got places to go and people to see. That there's a level of excitement, right? And isn't that what we now know? We now know that our emotions are the key to manifesting. When way back when the law of attraction first kind of was heard, I think it was Oprah Winfrey that brought it out to everybody, right? And with the book, The Secret, and then also the movie, right? The DVD. And it was about creating a lot of things from the material world. Did you know that the Hickses were a part of the original? And I saw the original movie, The Secret, and they were a part of it. And what they did was they broke their contract because they didn't realize how it was going to be edited and how it was going to be more focused on the material manifestation rather than the inward, and using the law of attraction to manifest spiritual growth, right? Yeah. So anyway, and people had problems. It's like the law of attraction doesn't work. Well, it does. It does. What was missing out of that equation was your emotion. And so we now know, and we've known for quite a while now, that the emotion is the fuel. It's the fuel to catapult your manifestation into the physical world, where then we are responsible to ground it to the earth plane. And so when we're looking at something like this, where horse is excited, we have to be excited about what we're manifesting. We have to feel it. We have to, as if it's already here. Be that excited about it. Yeah. So our emotions play a big role in that. A big, huge role. All right. So here is the second card that came. And let's see. Oops. Got to get to the page. It's the water dragon. So we know that the second card supports the first, right? Water dragon. And I forgot how to pronounce it. Water dragon. Draig, D-R-A-I-G, Draig. Ushku. O-O-S-H-C-U, Ushku. Draig-Uisge. I hope I pronounced that right. It's close, at least, hopefully. Draig-Uisge. Water dragon. Now we know dragon medicine is big. That's big medicine. The water dragon is associated with passion, depth, and connection. Passion, depth, and connection. Right? Yeah. I just want to check something here. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting all of the comments. All right. So here we go. The dragon is supporting the message coming from horse. And the words connected to the water dragon is passion, depth, and connection. The card shows us a store worm, a great sea dragon whose head was like a mountain and his eyes like round locks, very dark and deep. Living off the coast of northern Scotland, he could only be appeased with the offering of 7 virgins, bound hand and foot and laid on a rock beside the shore each Saturday. A young man called Asbedel killed him by riding a boat into his body and setting fire to his liver. As the dragon died, the crashing of his tongue made the Baltic Sea. As his teeth fell out, they made the Orkneys and the Shetlands and the Faroe Islands. Finally, he coiled himself up tightly and crashed into the sea. The old folks say that Iceland is his body, the liver still burning beneath its smoldering crust. Isn't that a cool story? The water dragon. Philip goes on to say that the water dragon brings that which is hidden into the light of day. That's what's hidden into the light of day. Memories and wishes which may have long lain forgotten or repressed in the unconsciousness may emerge to frighten or overwhelm you with their apparent negativity or destructiveness. Facing these experiences with compassion and courage will, in the end, bring you to the experience of a greater depth of soul and a greater sense of connectedness to all life. Although you may at times feel overwhelmed with emotion, with time you'll be able to achieve a sense of balance and stability as these strong feelings are integrated into your consciousness. Now that's interesting, don't you think? So we have something that we're carrying with us that is an emotion that is kind of buried deep, but if we allow it to continue to come to the surface, we actually look at it, heal it, release it, that we could experience a greater depth of soul and a greater sense of connectedness to all life when we do that kind of work, that kind of healing. that we may actually be able to manifest the kind of life that we've always wanted, right? I think it was in the other cards, the Angels and Ancestors cards. There was a card that had us wanting us to face our deepest fear, our biggest fear. Because on the other side of that, once we faced it, healed it, released it, we gather the wisdom from it, right? The gift. And the gift is our greatest desire. Now, this card was actually drawn in the reverse. And I think this is the first card that we've had in actual reverse. And so when it's drawn in reverse, it warns us to approach the exploration of our psyche and our past with caution. The conscious self can absorb the impact only a limited amount of repressed or unconscious material being released into the awareness. It is wise to work fractionally, little by little, to integrate the unconscious material into the consciousness. It is often best for healing and wholeness to be achieved slowly. Be aware also of allowing your emotions to rule you in a way that later you will regret. So, when you're really, really have a really strong emotion going, especially anger, rage, is to make those decisions from there isn't always good sometimes, and then we end up having to go back and correct it, or at least apologize for it. I want to mark this page because I want you to show you the two cards together. Okay. Now remember, horse was drawn first. And horse is about the goddess, the land, and travel. In the inner travel or even the physical travel. But as we were talking, is that talking about that key. What's that key to? Taking in the information from the water dragon, I think perhaps we are looking at taking the opportunity to allow that next layer of healing of whatever that is for you to come to the surface, but to go slowly at it. There's no need to put yourself into a healing crisis, but to take smaller steps. Because, okay, this is from the water dragon. The water dragon brings that which is hidden into the light of day. Into the light of day. And how often have we been talking about that sun? That brilliance, that bright sun, almost like the noonday sun. How it's illuminating the horse's path so that you can see clearly. And horse can help you with that that inner travel that you'll need to do in order to heal and release and gain the wisdom from whatever it is that you're facing. Right? The key could be to your spiritual growth. It could be your key to freedom. It could be your key to creating the kind of life that you've always wanted. Whatever that is, a life filled with joy or peace, fun, right? Yeah. And who would think, right? When you're taking a look at these two cards together, how does that feel to you? Because that's what really it's at the end of the day, or at the bottom line, individually for us, is feeling the energy, the spirit, the medicine coming from these cards, the essence of these animals coming to assist us. Because remember, the intention for the card draw is to show us the information that's most important for us to know about today. for our highest good and the highest good of all. And so I think that Spirit is helping us, giving us a message that it's important for us to do that healing, right? To actually manifest the kind of life that we really want. And in order to do that, to really feel the emotions around it, the excitement of it, is that we may have to do some healing work in order to really get that that feeling of the emotion that we need for the law of attraction, right? Yeah. Rochelle says there's a lot of movement, looking at the two, right? I agree. I really agree. And she's also saying the key that releases turmoil. Yeah, could very well be. And Mary's saying the feeling is of the opposites. Oh, of the opposites. And I don't know if Mervin's still with us, but the Druids have something about the healing of opposites. I think that's what it's called. And I can't remember, because that was in the cards. And I don't remember which card that was that talked about the opposites. Is it? I thought maybe it was Blackbird, but I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I can't remember which card it was, but there was a card that we've already had that talked about the opposites. And I thought it was Blackbird. Maybe it was Crow or Raven, I bet. Maybe it was Raven. I'm going to quick check, okay? Page 66. Yep, here it is. It's a process known as the resolution of the opposites. The resolution of the opposites. Giving you the possibility of resolving conflicts that have long lain buried in your unconsciousness or perhaps in your past. So that still kind of goes along with what the water dragon is here to help us with, right? Because it's something that has been repressed and coming to the surface, to our consciousness, out of our unconsciousness. And so thank you, Mary, for sharing that. And because if you can see the resolution of opposites. And so, and with the water dragon, they're saying that when we do that kind of healing, is that we can experience a greater depth of soul and a greater sense of connectedness to all life. You know why that is? I think is because when we do that big kind of healing, it's big soul growth, right? And we get closer to our original song that we came in with, our original vibration. And so when we're closer to our original vibration, all kinds of things can happen that are good, because we're more easily found. And so, those gifts that we were meant to have at 100%, they're more accessible to us, right? And so when we do that kind of growth, so I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, Spirit has really, really been giving us a lot of information about facing our fears and healing, and a lot of it is about emotional healing. And we're coming up on the spring equinox. And so maybe whatever it is for you, that something that has been repressed, an emotion that's been repressed, maybe it was coming from a trauma right, is allowing that to come to the surface and remembering that baby steps, right? Small steps, so that you can, and it might be a slower way of healing, but it's more complete. It's more complete. And you're not throwing yourself into what's called a healing crisis, right? Sometimes when we move energy too fast, we can throw ourselves into a healing crisis. So you could end up, maybe with the flu or with a migraine, or depending on what the issue is, if you have a weakness in your back, sometimes it'll affect that. And so being able to do it slowly, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a race. It's not a race. What's more important is that we're actually consciously looking at it and beginning to heal it and beginning to release it. That is the most important part. However long it takes you, that's what it takes you. And slower in this case is better. It's better, so that you can have a breathing space in between, and you get a chance to actually kind of integrate that aspect that you've just healed and released, and being aware of what your life is like without that, and what it feels like, how it changes your energy level. Do you have more energy, even if it's just a little bit? Are you feeling better? Do you feel a sense of relief? So that you have a space in there to integrate it before you take on the next step of really healing the next piece of it. Make sense? Yeah, I think it does. And that all became because Mary says the feeling is of opposites. The resolution of opposites. Yeah, and Maria is saying, "Hey, Marie, it's good to have you here. Exactly what I needed to hear. I've been reacting out of anger that I had no idea was there." Yeah, yeah. So it's we most of us have grown up in a culture, a society where expressing anger isn't appropriate. We're supposed to act like it didn't exist. We're supposed to push it down. We're supposed to suppress it or repress it. Yeah, but it's got to come out somehow, right? It's got to come out somehow. And so we do have a choice in how to express it. If we choose not to express it, it could come out in the form of a physical illness. Yeah, it could. And so the feeling of it, of anger, and then go one step further, Marie. What's underneath the anger? What is the emotion that's driving the anger? Because anger is kind of like a symptom, right? So what's underlying the anger? For many people, it's fear. And then you have to ask yourself, what am I really afraid of here? Call on your spiritual team. Get them on board. Ask them to help you. Help me to identify what it is that's underneath this anger. If it's fear, I want to know exactly what it is that I'm afraid of. And that's where the healing work begins. Helping you to identify it. Yeah. And actually, this is all in good timing, Marie. All of it is in good timing. Now that you recognized it, you're consciously aware of it, you can make the decision, take the opportunity to begin to investigate, research it, get to the underlying root of it, and begin the healing process. Yeah. And it's possible that you can call on the spirit of horse and the spirit of the water dragon to help you. their essence, their medicine. Because horse is excited about this. he's got grandfather's sky over his shoulder, illuminating the path, taking you toward that key. Yeah. So, my suggestion is to remember to connect with your spiritual team. Yeah. Well, that was interesting. That was really good. Got to thank Horse and Water Dragon for coming and sharing with us an opportunity that we have knocking on our door called healing, right? Healing something that's been repressed. And Horse brought us the opportunity to be able to help us do that. And Water Dragon's got his back. So anyway, this has been really nice. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me today for the card draw. So, I say this just about every day, right? Is that if anything resonated with you, it could be bits and pieces of it. It could be the whole thing. Whatever it is that resonated with you is to please embrace it. Embrace it. And then be aware, watch, sense, feel, see how the energy of your day is unfolding and where this information could be helpful to you, right? Whether you're a direct participant or a witness of it unfolding. So, and if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. It doesn't have to. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings by saying that it didn't resonate with you, because there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow's card, right? Or possibly Thursdays. I got to tell you something in a second. Yeah. So yeah, we got good. We're just getting started. We're in halfway at the halfway point. We've got one more show for you tonight, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's my weekly show, Communications from Home. And we're going to be sharing about the March issue of the Star Nations magazine and the backstory and what it's like to publish a magazine during Mercury retrograde. We got a couple stories for you. And so tell you a little bit about the March issue, okay? And show you the highlighted articles for this month. And then tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time is Nature Adventures with Minnie Kansman and myself. And we're talking about the fifth element. We're going to share some stuff with you about the fifth element. And it should be pretty interesting. I don't know how many people know much about the fifth element. So if you don't, come and join us, okay? That's at 4 p.m. Eastern from our fan page, Nature Adventures. And at 7 p.m. is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. Yeah, it's a powerful evening, let me tell you. Now this fits in with the cards today, is that if you have, and you don't know what it is that's being repressed, but you can feel something coming to the surface, you're restless about it, right? You can always come and do the healing portion of the evening. That's the first thing that she does. And you're bringing your own intention of healing or releasing something. You're working with your own spiritual team. Polly Jo and her team, what they do is they create the sacred space and hold it for us, and they will assist us if we need assisting to heal it or to release. Okay, so it might be a good way to be able to do that with the collective energy, even though we're working separately on our own stuff. It's a collective energy, and so it can be very powerful. Mm-hmm. Now, in the second half is about the card draw. So if you enjoy having a mini reading by a card draw, you can come and say yes, please, in the comments, and your name will be put on the list, and Polly Jo will read a card for you, draw one and read one for you. Yeah, and on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time is Life Wisdom with Ed Langdon. And Ed is talking about the law of attraction on Thursday and how we create the life that we're living, and how some of us, most of us, are stuck in the past. And so he's going to help us to be more in the present, and he's actually going to be helping us through tapping. And so he's going to be doing that and also doing some channeling work for us. So if you have a question, you can send him your question, and or you can just be in the chat, and he'll, if he can get to your question, he will during the show. Okay. All right. So one more thing at the top of the hour. Wednesday, tomorrow. The chances of me having the live stream tomorrow, the daily live stream, is kind of slim. A meeting that usually happens in the early evening is getting moved Pacific time to I think it's noon Pacific time, which means it's 2:00 here. And it's a meeting that I have to be at because it is all about getting our magazine in front of those 10,000 readers. So I have to be there because I'm on the team for that. So chances are pretty slim that I'm going to be able to be in two places at one time. Okay, but I will be in the chat, not in the chat, but here for the Nature Adventures show. Okay, so so don't expect a daily live stream tomorrow. All right. Okay. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold the phone, Joan. Valerie says, it always resonates and is useful. Strength and power today. Lots of synchronicities lately. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, Valerie. Thank you for being here. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you on Thursday for the daily live stream and the group card draw. Okay. All right. Baba Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.